Hi, I'm back, and this is Icy Fresh. And today I'm going to continue on with the book. Basically, I am on chapter 8. I am on chapter 8 of Slow Burn, or you could call it The Wait. Just basically, the whole book is basically on how do you wait on God when things that you are praying for has to be waited on. Like when I pray for something, how do I wait on God's timing, not mine? So now I'm on chapter 8 called Connect the Dots, or Connecting the Dots, whichever word, word you want to say it. Connecting the dots, connect the dots. So what is fear? Well, if you think of a chameleon, how a chameleon can change into different colors depending on where it's at, or depending on what colors are around it. So fear is like a chameleon that can change different colors depending on the season you're in your life. It matches the tone of your thoughts and distorts your vision. So fear comes in like a chameleon and it matches the tone of your thoughts, so you have a distorted view. So your vision gets distorted because a fear is coming in the room. So it tells you to keep the secrets from your friends or family so you could save face. So face is like save face. I forget what that means. It means, what is save face? Let me see. Save face. Meaning. Oh, save face is like avoid humiliation. Okay. So you want to save face so you avoid humiliation, because fear is setting the tone of your thoughts and distorting your view. So now you want to keep secrets from friends and family just to avoid humiliation, because probably what you're doing is wrong and you know that already. But instead you'd want to keep it. Which makes you isolated and your weakness. Left to keep maintaining your own individual fortress, it will eventually lead to your true strength. So let's see. So sometimes lie can be something that we get buried from. Not buried. Sometimes the lie is what we're buying to keep us in isolation. So fear comes in and we buy the lie, and now we're stuck in isolation and we separated from our friends and family. So now our vision is distorted because the thoughts are not good anymore. So we avoid humiliation by not talking about it. I might have to move spots. I think the sun is going to come over here. But let's see. So instead of confronting how you feel, you isolate and hope it'll pass, but the only thing passing you by is your life. So you want to isolate and hope it will pass, so you just isolate yourself and hope those issues will go away, but the only thing that's passing you by is life. But what if you unlocked the door? So we all struggle. It is part of the human nature. We all struggle. It happens to everybody. But the enemy is attacking us. If he can't get you paralyzed by fear, he will put on a new mask and convince you to pull away from your community and support and accountability. So if fear comes and attacks you and it doesn't paralyze you, then what will it do? It will put on a new mask and convince you to get away from your community of support and accountability. So when you are most vulnerable, to his lies. So fear can make you most vulnerable to its lies. How? If it can't paralyze you, then it puts on a new mask and convinces you, oh no, get away from your friends. Oh no, get away from your family. Oh no, get away from your community of support and accountability. Because when you are alone, his voice is the loudest. And which voice do you want to be the loudest? Do you want the voice of fear being the one that's the loudest voice in your mind or your thoughts? So no one can do the journey of life, only you can. And no one can do the journey of life alone. So we were created to do life together. So we were created to do life together. So we also can be in a room full of people and still feel alone, because loneliness has more to do with what's going on inside of you than what is going on around you. So for example, I can go to a church, and there could be people full at the church, but it's not about what's going on around me, it's what's going on inside of me. And I could still feel alone. Even if I'm surrounded by 20 people, you can still feel alone. One sec. There we go. I think that works. You can still feel alone. So even if you are not physically isolated, you are emotionally isolated, I guess you can say it that way. Even though you're not physically isolated, you're not physically alone, but mentally in your thoughts you are alone, or you feel alone because of fear. So when you are walking through a painful season, you might feel that you don't have the energy to go there with people you love. So sometimes because of a painful thing that we went through, we don't want to go there with anybody. And if we go there, we know that those emotions that we push down so deep are going to be scary to come face to face with. So it's never good to push down your emotions further and further away, especially if you don't want to go there. Then you probably really should go there. So all those emotions don't stay deep inside, and instead they're on the surface all the time. And then you feel better about yourself because you're vulnerable and people are being accepted of you. But what do you think would happen if you unlock the door to your inner life, to those who know you best? And to those who know you best, not the people who don't know you at all. The ones who know you best is the ones that you should go there with. You shouldn't go there with people that don't know you. You shouldn't go to that place with people that are not your friends. You shouldn't go there with people that are strangers. You shouldn't go there with people that you don't have a relationship with. Those emotions you shouldn't go there with those kind of people. Because you need to go for the people that know you the best. Your best friends, your family, maybe people at church that you have a good relationship with. Then you should go to them and go there with stuff. So let's see. So we have to get in that mindset that we need to be in. So like Proverbs urges us to seek the wisdom of the counselors. God steers us toward one another because He wired us to rely on one another. So if you have good friends and you have emotions or you need to go there, can you even rely on those friends that you think they are your friends, but you can't rely on them for anything? You can't rely on them to be on time. You can't rely on them to be to be respectful. You can't rely on them to other whatever things, be responsible. You can't rely on them for help. You can't rely on them for whatever it is that you can think. So do you have those good friends that you can rely on, that you have a shoulder to cry on when those emotions that you need to go there with? Do you have good friends that you can go there to, go to that place with? Or do you have no friends, or the bad ones that don't help you, that don't even know you? So we have to be honest with our safest people, or we have to be honest with the safest people. So that's another thing. That are your friends the safest friends? Even though you say they're your friends, but do they always do the safest things? So if you're with the safest people, you can receive the care and insight that you need. So guard the life you were made for. So in Proverbs, be sober-minded, be watchful. Be sober, be watchful. Paul taught believers, your adversary, the devil's prowling like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5:8. So how does the lion destroy its prey? By giving them alone. By going to the one and isolating them without any protection. And then attacks. So isolation changes our physical and psychological state. We release more stress, and our daily challenges feel more intense, and we are more prone to negative expectations. So isolation can change us physically and psychologically, because those challenges of life always feel more intense. And now we are more prone to negative expectations because of isolation. But God made us for more. The enemy wants you to isolate yourself because he knows you were created to be connected. So like I said, connecting the dots. God made you to be connected, and the enemy does not want to see you connected to God. He wants to see you disconnected. So when you isolate, you become the center. When you are isolated, you become the center of your world, and your desires become your entire focus. And your life revolves around those desires. So the interconnectedness of creation. So isolation is destructive, because God has designed all of creation to be interconnected. We are more connected than we could ever have dreamed of. To an extent we won't even know until we reach heaven. But the wise will pay attention to it here and now. It often begins with a simple seeking and seeing what God is doing. When was the last time you saw it? Take a moment and look at it now. Open your eyes to the world around you. Take a step outside and breathe in fresh air. And all of creation is a supernatural synergy of individual components that are linked, basically. The individual exists to be connected to the whole. So I exist to be connected to the whole, which is the whole, which is God. So I am an individual that exists to be connected to God. And we get to spend time waiting for our eternal life. So discovering connections, basically just giving examples, different connections. Let's see. Let's see. So when it comes to relationships, the historical concept of 6 degrees. I don't know how many have heard that. So I guess there's a concept of 6 degrees of separation. I think I've heard that before. Maybe not. Has rapidly evolved to 3 degrees of separation. So it used to be 6 degrees of separation. Now it has changed into 3 degrees of separation. With the advancement of technology. So you are 3 people away rationally to anyone else on the planet. You are not isolated. So basically just saying all the technology that we have keeps us connected. So we have to look within and around, but what about up? So billions of stars in the galaxy orbit as the gravitational pull keeps them in orbit. Every star is burned with nuclear fusion, releasing light and heat. So astronomers can look back in time by studying the stars, since there are technologies seeing them in their past. Talk about a slow waiting burn of patience and perseverance. The ember of each star stands alone but reaches out across the dark expanse, offering direction to humanity throughout history. So humanity or people have used the stars throughout history to find direction. So it is only through connecting the dots that we see basically the planets or in, I don't know how to say, or stars, never mind, the constellation. The dots that we see, the constellation, Orion, the stars, the constellation, stuff like that. So after you look up within and around, why not look down? So the dark sky above reminds me of the soil below. Seeds packed within hidden potential settled into fertile soil and develop roots deep below the earth's surface. So did you know that there are 50,000 different kinds of seeds that are connected? So above us in the sky, within us in our bodies, below us in the soil. So there is every dot and depth behind every connection. So all of our stories weave into his story. So basically all his stories go into one story. So just as the body of Christ is part of the shore, you aren't meant to function as a single grain of sand. Unifying with God's story is a choice. When you look around, do you see only disconnection or opportunity to connect? The difference between random and destined is your perspective. So some people have the perspective that it's all random, or some people have the perspective that it's all destined. So do you see yourself as a dot or as part of a divine galaxy? So your view affects the way you treat people, basically. So you never know what they might play in the future or what part God desires you to play in theirs. So being intentional about what you dwell on can do the same. Every time, so she's just saying that every time she flies and she's in a plane, she could zoom in and zoom out. So like that. So being intentional about what you dwell on can do the same. So sometimes we just need to zoom out and see how much more is within us. Bring some other people into your lens. Take stock of your entire life and rehearse all the ways God has delighted you and loved you. It's never too late to look out the window on the other side. And keep in mind that one season doesn't define you, whether it's good or bad. So when it's good, connect the dots. God gives favor. When it's bad, God is faithful. When it seems to be a wasteland, don't be surprised if God has more than you could imagine around the corner. What looks like a disaster in the moment is often His providence. And providence is just like God has providence over us. So it may seem like it's a disaster, but God has providence over my life. So when is the last time you took a long look at what God has done for you? So when it's the last time you said, God has done this, God has done this, God has done this, and it's because of this happened because of His providence in my life. Because of this happened because of God is faithful in my life. This happened because God gives me favor over my life. So connect the dots and tell someone about it. So as you express what God is doing, it will fill your heart with awe and wonder. So, and what about those days when you try and you cannot seem to glimpse a broader view of the story? So there is room for goodness there too. A way of meeting with God by zooming in. So often we try to keep kids quiet in church. So sometimes God gives us a blueprint, and other times He creates it dot by dot. So when that's the case, we have to wait for Him to create a point A that will connect the point B and then C. While we don't know how He's working, we do know our role to fully trust and wait on Him. So a lot of people reach for the coloring book instead of reaching for the Creator. It's faster to reach for a pattern than a unique purpose. So do you want to reach for a unique purpose, or do you want to reach for the coloring book? So it's the point to see the entire landscape of your life now. Because sometimes we can't see the full picture. We just need to delight in today. So walk with your eternal family now. So we are heading to heaven, or I am heading to heaven full of my eternal family and my God. So who writes the best stories? He's leading you to that home while we're waiting on earth. So let the wait enlarge your vision of the way forward and help you follow Him. Let it help you see the dots He puts before you and connect them. So when you do that, you will silence the lies of the enemy and not walk alone. So remember, the enemy wants you isolated. So if you connect those dots and saying this is happening because of God, this is this and this connects to that, then you will silence those lies, and his voice you won't hear anymore. It'll be quiet. So you will sense more of what God is doing and how part he is doing through you. So unity is a big picture you never would have seen alone. So I think, yeah, that's it. So last point here, you were created to be connected all throughout the waiting. So as we're waiting for something, we are meant to be connected. And God is good all the time. And that has been Connect the Dots. And I'm out.